Hi everyone, I am Maribel and I work at Merced Adult School. I'm the counselor here, and this week we're going to talk about mastering your reading skills. Specifically, we're looking at comprehension, and then we'll delve into a little bit of speed reading. So, believe it or not, I had a fear and still kind of have a little bit of a fear of public speaking, but I can attribute that to back in grade school. If I didn't tell you before, I was an ESL student. English was not my primary language. So back in grade school, they had these reading circles, or more like let's read out loud paragraph, and we would go desk by desk. And I dreaded that because I really did care about what other people thought about me. And I knew that English was not my forte. I was really good in math, but English was not my forte. And I really wanted to not look dumb in front of other people. So I really worried and stressed about my turn to read. I would look at a person and see where they were, the student was. And I'm like, okay, my paragraph is going to be this. I got to prepare for it, and I dreaded it. And I was scared to read. I wanted to make sure that I had it down perfectly. Well, I think that was the reason why I was scared of reading. And I didn't care and like reading much. English wasn't just my thing. But it was hard. It was a difficult times, but difficult times either will define you, it will diminish you, tear you down, or it will help you develop you. It's going to be your choice, and you're going to have to decide when things go difficult. There's always a lesson to be learned. So sometimes it's good to stop worrying about what other people think or say so we can be free of this concern. I know it's easier said than done, but I've worked on it. It's taken me a lot, but I feel like I can do so much more when I don't worry about what other people think. So reading skills do help you, of course, with your vocabulary, with your grammar, writing, spelling, and speaking skills. It definitely benefits your brain. But did you know reading, it is the most valuable skill to master today? Well, you gotta learn. In order to learn, you could do things. And if you want to do things in life, you have to read a lot, right? But I think one of the most important and big things for me, is it helps you with creativity, your imagination, your level of empathy, caring for others, putting yourself in other people's shoes, be able to relate to others, leadership, parenting, team building, pretty much anything that you want to be at something good at, right? But more importantly, it saves you time, which I said this before, is the most valuable asset, because time, you can never get it back. It's precious. So how many people have read something and then they get to the end and you forget what you just read? And sometimes you read it again and you get to the end and you still don't remember what you read. That's me. That's me. I'm guilty of that. And there's reasons for it, especially right now. Some of the obstacles of effective reading are these. A couple there, I feel there are the main ones. Education. No one teaches us how to read after grade school. You're not required to take books home anymore. And I think it's a skill, just like exercise, that you should be practicing every day. And then focus. We lack focus. We get so distracted and we can't focus on what we're doing, right? So those are the, some reasons why it's hard even to read. Of course, people will say that they don't have time, but trust me, you're going to want to make time to read. Because reading is to your mind like your body. Exercise is to your body. Let me repeat that again. Reading is to your mind like exercise is to your body. it's healthy to exercise, right? Your body needs it. Well, your mind needs the same thing. How do you keep your mind, preventing Alzheimer's, right? You want to prevent Alzheimer's, you want to make sure you're using your brain a lot, okay? So this is where we're going to go over I'm going to look at the reading comprehension. I think that's very important. Before trying to speed read, you got to make sure you have some kind of good vocabulary set, because I know I wouldn't be able to speed read when it was before. So I think you want to focus on comprehension first and then look into some speeding skills, okay? So one thing you want to do first is find an optimal place, a spot where you can read and feel comfortable, where you can stand up straight or just are ready, right? That could be like at a patio, outside your window, by a window, you get some natural lighting. Maybe out there go to a park, listening to nature, go somewhere, go to a creek. Okay, not at night, okay? Somewhere where you feel like you can do and focus and learn, right? Just kind of like when you're studying, same thing, same idea. And next thing is that you want to start, especially my ESL students, you want to start reading children's books. We have a few here children's books. They're not overwhelming, not too many words. Start with children's books. And take your time when you read. Get a timer too, because you're going to want to do this every day. Okay? And remember, like right now we're doing comprehension. It's like you're learning how to walk first before you run. And the speed reading will be more like running. And trust me, I don't like running, but I know this might be a little bit good. Not too much though, okay, right? So get a timer, put yourself start with 15 minutes maybe, and then increase it for 30 minutes. Or if you have the time to do 30 minutes, do that. Make it a daily habit, like if you were brushing your teeth. So take your time, enjoy your book, look up words, because your first round, you might just want to try to understand it with looking up vocabulary words. And then read it again. Because repetition is important to learning. And masters get good at basics and fundamentals, which is being able to repeat things. So read it again the next time to enjoy it. You can also buy audiobooks and listen while you're following along with your eyes. That will help you. It's kind of like you're reading, you're listening, and you're reading, and eventually you can take over. I know that's how I learned how to play an instrument. I had to listen to how it's supposed to sound, and I would read along music while I was playing along, and then eventually they stopped playing and I was playing. I feel like this is the same thing. It will help you a lot, being able to hear and read, match things together. So, but it doesn't have to be children's book. Let's say you're not an ESL student. Start with books that you enjoy, that you like. And read as much as possible. If you can read, like I said, every day, read every day. 15, 30 minutes. Make it a habit. So let's say you're a student and you're reading these textbooks, right? So these textbooks could be hard to read. So what you want to do first is to pre-read. So before you're actually reading, make sure you're reading to inform your brain, prime your brain to what to look for. So how do you do that? You look at chapter headings, the table of contents, bold headings, the vocabulary terms, and review questions. You're looking at, like, of course, the title, of course, and the introduction, if it's not like a textbook. So you're looking at the title and introduction. Usually it's helping you with what you're going to be reading about. And then, like I said, the other stuff. So make sure you can pre-read. Highlight. This is one of my favorites. I always have a highlighter. Right now I'm reading this book, Start With Why, Simon Sinek. I recommend it. I'm almost done. I have a highlighter and I have a pencil because I want to make sure someone else wants to borrow it. Highlight and underline main points, ideas, words. They're going to help you remember what you read. I know that's what I do. Remember that the key to comprehension is asking more questions, because questions are the answers. What does that mean? Sometimes asking questions about stuff that you don't understand will help you, like, okay, now I get it. Because if you're not asking questions, you're not really interested. But when you ask questions, you start learning, like, oh, okay, think that makes sense. I get it. So I'm gonna help you. These are important I's to remember. So we always have this information. And this information can sometimes inspire us. These are the I's. And then you might want to implement them and start doing them. But the most important I is being able to integrate it in your life, in your daily life. But how can you do that, right? And so there's this guy, Jim Wick. He's really smart. I got a lot of his stuff, like this specifically format on, it's actually taking notes, but it's really when you're reading too. Especially when you have a lecture, if you're taking notes. So it's kind of like taking notes, but it's definitely good when you're reading, okay? So have a piece of paper, draw a line in the middle. On the left side, take notes, capture the notes. Maybe word by word, the keywords that you're listening. On the right side, some of them that he doesn't say, look at the, like, why, who is the main character? Who are we talking about? What are they trying to say? What is the author trying to tell me? Those are some things in general, but if you really want to get into the integration part of this information you get that inspired you and then you implemented, then you really want to ask yourself these questions. And that's why questions are the answers. How can I use this? Why must I use this? And when will I use this? I know it's hard sometimes with some math, because, like, why do I need the quadratic formula? When am I gonna need it? Never. But it might be like when you're gonna need it, like for the test, so you might want to remember that. Right? So those are important. How can I use this? Why must I use this? When will I use this? And put it in your calendar, because when you put it in your calendar, you're gonna do it. We always say we want to read more, we want to take care of ourselves, but we don't actually do it, right? We know we need self-care, but we don't put it in the calendar. So put it in your calendar. Even if it's one small thing from a book, get something. What did you gain from this? What is your big take from the book? And how are you going to use it in your life? And make sure you put it in your calendar, because that's going to help you. So I felt like that was a big one. Another tool was to summarize what you said and tell someone about it. I know one of my coworkers is like, read every day for 15-30 minutes, tell someone about it, what you learned, paraphrase it. And this is where you can use the questions regarding the who, what, when, why, where, what is the author trying to tell me, you know? Where that's when you want to use it. Like, answer those questions as you're explaining to someone. So about this person, this is why, and how it happened, it was great, and this is what I got from it, you know? Learn and read with the intention of teaching. So that's why when you tell someone about it, it's like, oh, okay, what is your big take from it? What are you trying to teach or tell someone, reveal to someone? So those are some the comprehensions. You pre-read, you highlight, and you do the note-taking, you know, your actual notes, and then ask yourself those 3 questions. How can I use this? Why must I use this? When will I use this? And put it in your calendar, right? Oh, I forgot to find your place. Make sure you have your place and read things over again. So now let's look at how to improve your speed reading and why is that important, right? So there's this lady, Annie Jones. In 47 minutes, she read 784 pages. That's like 3 to 4 pages a minute. That's crazy. No, wait, I don't even know. Actually, it's more than that. I didn't even do the math. It's like 15 pages a minute. That's a lot. I don't think I can do that. Maybe if I practice, remember, because practice makes perfect, right? But that's a Harry Potter book. She read the Harry Potter book, which was 784 pages, in 47 minutes. This guy, Jim Wick, he reads a book a day. That's like 365 books a year. I'm like, I'll be happy if I read 2. Actually, I'm trying to work on that. So how do you improve your speed? So one thing is big is when you use your finger, just like little cats, we follow it, right? And so use your finger and object to increase the speed. Follow it like a cat. Ooh, laser thing, right? And increase the speed every time, and you will follow along. Remember, this is after you actually have good vocabulary. It's been like 20 years, because I felt comfortable until I was in college on reading and understanding English and speaking English, okay? So, and then skimming. Look for main paragraphs, main ideas, concepts. Slow down when you see a paragraph and look at the sentence, the first sentence and the last sentence. You can also glance and group things quickly to move on. Okay? So, but I think that's a big one, and you'll get better and you'll get faster. Use that finger, skim, glance. That's what I've been doing. I just train myself to read fast and really just catch the main ideas, and I realize, oh, okay, well, they talk a lot, but really what they're trying to say is this, and I read it, and I write the little one sentence that explains what they were saying in this whole 1 page or 2-3 pages. So that's a good way to speed. And so that's that. So let's summarize. First, if you're learning a new language, you're an ESL student, make sure you start with comprehension and with little books, children's books. And as you are getting better and faster, because you will get better, because practice does make better and perfect. Maybe not exactly perfect, because you'll never be perfect, but it will help you. I promise you. I've done that with learning a new instrument. Like, I practice a lot, and eventually I don't need to practice a lot to get stuff. And that's the same thing with reading. I mean, because I'm a musician, but like that's how my connection was, because I love playing music and I love learning new instruments. And as you're learning a new language, you start out with the little parts. You make sure you're walking before you're trying to run. So work on comprehension first. And like I said, it's important to ask those questions, like Jim Wick said. Okay, always ask why, how you're gonna use something, what you learned, why you must use, when will you use it, and why you must use it, and when you will use it, and always put it in your calendar. And use your finger when you're reading to make it faster. Once you have that comprehension and good vocabulary, then you can work on reading faster with your finger, glancing, skimming, because I know that's sometimes people use. I didn't know, but I'm going to be working on that. So remember that knowledge is power, but reading and learning must be a superpower. So what you want to do is create a read list. Maybe some people recommend some self-books, health books. You never know what you can learn and what you can teach others and inspire others to do. Try to read every day for 30 minutes, like exercise. And maybe work towards 1 book a week, but that's working towards it, because I don't know if I could do that right now. It's not a priority yet, but I want to make it a priority because I really want to learn more. Maybe when I'm not working a lot or going to school too and working a lot, like I will make sure this is going to be in my to-do list, and I'll have a read list. Actually, I'm creating a read list right now. Because Bill Gates, I think he reads 50 books a day. I mean, sorry, not a day. 50 books a year. That's almost like a book a week. And I think maybe he takes a couple weeks off. There's 52 weeks in a year, vacation or something. But he's become really successful, and he's helped a lot of people. And I think I want to work towards helping others. So maybe you could do the same thing. So Hopefully you guys learned something today. Reading skills. I'm looking at maybe note-taking skills will involve this part right here. One part of this. I'm looking at maybe finding your purpose. And yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, let me know for next week or the further of the weeks. Any resources that I use, remember I always link all the videos or anything that I use down in the description below. Thank you so much. Have a good day.